Hey guys, what up? It's Dan, aka Hoop Sneakers, and welcome back into the Hoop Sneakers YouTube channel, or the IGTV, or the Facebook page, or wherever else you might be viewing this video today. So today we've got the performance review on these guys right here. So this is the Li-Ning Sonic VIII Team. So it's a team version of Li-Ning's Sonic VIII sneaker. So it's like a takedown or a budget model. So the story with these goes is, these are actually sent to me from Sunlight Station. Now, Sunlight Station is an authorized reselling website that offers international shipping of Chinese branded products, specifically Li-Ning and Way of Wade. So Sunlight Station reached out to me and they said, hey, we want to send you a pair of sneakers. And I was like, yep, cool. So did the whole, I give them my address and what have you. I got an email about what they were sending me, and it was these guys here, obviously. And so I went to the website, checked out, went to the website to check out what they were, and they only retailed for $85 Australian, which is actually quite cheap for a basketball sneaker. That's a pretty low retail price. So I wasn't expecting too much, but as you'll see throughout the video, like we'll get to that later. But yeah, so just know that these are sort of like a budget model or a takedown version of a team shoe that Li-Ning offer. They are geared towards outdoor play more so than indoors. But having said all that, we probably should just get into the sneaker right now. So we'll start off with the traction and the outsole. So what we've got here on the Li-Ning Sonic VIII Team is a solid rubber outsole. It is called Tough RB, which I assume is tough rubber. And it is a very hard rubber outsole. It seems very, very durable. You've got a pattern that is decently widely spaced and decently deep grooves. So you should get a solid amount of life out of this traction pattern. And then the pattern itself is a bladed traction pattern, which offers you multi-directional coverage, as usually most traction patterns do. So you cover from north-south and east-west, and you're moving around the court. You do have a very small pivot point with a radial pattern just underneath the ball of your foot on the medial side of the outsole. It works really well both indoors and outdoors. So you get really consistent traction out of the outsole on indoor and outdoor surfaces. It works just as well indoors as it does outdoors. You get a nice real squeak out of it. You can go significant periods of time without needing to wipe off any dust. Doesn't pick up too much dust at all. And then loose dirt and debris and things on an outdoor court don't really seem to affect it either. So overall, it just performs really well, both indoors and outdoors. And so yeah, a really good traction pattern to start off with. So so from the base of the sneaker, we've got a really good base to keep going on up. So we'll move on to the cushion, the foam cushion, the midsole. So the cushion, Li-Ning calls it light foam, and what I would say is the midsole foam used here, it's most likely, it's EVA, so it's some sort of EVA blend from Li-Ning Sports. But what it reminds me of, it's almost like a mix between like a light strike foam from Adidas mixed with Nike's Cushlon, or even with a little bit of bounce foam mixed in at times. And so that's what it reminds me of. And those foams are generally pretty highly regarded, which should tell you how much I think of this midsole cushion. What it does do, it's really well balanced from heel to toe. It offers you just a touch of spring under your foot, a little bit of bounciness. You've got a really nice plush heel for those heavy heel strikes, and a lot of impact protection up the back. And then at the forefoot, you feel really stable and supported up front. Then you do actually get some additional cushion from the insole. The insole's awesome. It's really thick, really padded insole. It's like another level of foam under your foot as well. And then the strobel board is actually soft. It's not like a real stiff plasticky nylon typical strobel board too. So all that works together really well to give you good stepping comfort and a good experience with the cushion underfoot. So that's pretty much all I have to say there in terms of the cushion. It's just really well balanced. I think players across all positions on the court will get something out of this cushion setup. So go on to the fit. I love the fit on these because they're size 11 US men, which is my normal size, and I can fit in them no problems as a wide footer. So I do appreciate when I can get a sneaker in my true size as a wide footer, and it fits me really well. So yep, wide footers, normal footers should still probably go true to size. And I would only say if you've got probably like a narrower foot, and you like a really snug fit, you might want to consider going down half a size. But I think most people should be fine going true to size in these because you can adjust the lacing where you need it. The upper's not super stretchy, but it's also not super constrictive either. It's just really well balanced across in the fit as well. In terms of support, you've got pretty much like the standard support features, especially from a sneaker at this level of the market. The forefoot base isn't super like wide or super flat. Like it's just decently like wide, and it's not really particularly flat. You do have a little exaggerated piece just here on the lateral side. So you've got like a really small outrigger. It's almost like a little kickstand. And that does its job really well, even though it's not like a really exaggerated, really extended outrigger. That just catches you if you're making like, I made this really hard plant to change direction doing a dribble move, and I felt that engaging and that kicking in, that little kickstand doing its job and getting in under to make sure I stayed where I needed to be. So that works really well. You do sit quite a bit within this midsole, as you can see. You've got a lot of sculpting, and just here where it dips down lower, you're caught by the materials, like the skin fused overlays, which we'll get into shortly. But so that does a good job there to keep you on the footbed. You have a really beefy internal TPU heel counter, and then you've also got this like little overlay TPU support piece, as well as some overlay synthetic nubuck material at the heel. There is a small TPU torsional bar within the midsole. It sits at the midfoot and then slightly further back on the sneaker towards the heel than usually. Usually it sits more like right just here, but this one sort of extends back to where this cushion starts and goes, it pretty much covers the midfoot. It's just in a slightly different place than what I've noticed before. And then the lacing system. So as you can see, it's a traditional lacing system with a tongue. You've got like cables which run on the lateral side. You've got cables that make up the lace eyelets, and they go all the way down to the midsole, and where the strober will attach the upper to the midsole foam. And then on the lateral side, you've got these cables as well, and these go down to these like straps or strands that are also stitched in, and that's how the lacing system keeps you contained on the footbed and also draws you into the back of the heel of the sneaker to keep you locked in where that heel counter is. So yeah, everything works really well together, even though it's like, it's a budget model, and it offers you like everything you sort of need and not much that you don't, but it all works really well together in this package to keep you exactly where you need to be. I never felt like I was going to have any issues with the support of this sneaker. And then so finally, we move on to the materials. So the materials of this are pretty straightforward for a sneaker that came out in 2020. So you have a textile mesh upper, which makes up probably the majority of the upper, like the forefoot, and extends to the midfoot on the lateral side. So you got this textile mesh upper, which it performs fine. It makes it cheaper to manufacture for Li-Ning, which means they can offer them at a lower price, which is good. The mesh has some skin fused overlays, which Li-Ning calls their ultra shell. It's not excessive. It seems like a lot, but it's not. And it actually serves a purpose because it adds durability and also that support on that lateral side that we talked about. Then there are some synthetic materials on this sneaker, mostly synthetic leathers with a small touch of synthetic nubuck. So you've got synthetic leather on the tongue and also on the medial side, which is quite a bit of it. Then at the heel, you've just got this. It actually feels nice enough considering how much the sneaker costs. But you got this little bit of nubuck here at the back, and so it's really nice that the base of the sneaker is like textile and fused, but you do have some overlays that are synthetic, but they feel pretty good. Like, it's a decent enough synthetic leather. It feels nice when you to the touch and everything. So, it's really appreciated from Li-Ning to give us materials like that on a sneaker that would be considered like a takedown or a budget model. So, as far as I'm concerned, this sneaker not only is it real, like, not only for the price at they retail at 85 Australian dollars plus tax. So here in Australia we have GST, which is 10%. So they come out at $93.50 Australian plus your shipping. 85 Australian pre-tax is like $65 US, which is like outrageously cheap for a sneaker that performs as well as this does. So not only is it like a good shoe for the price, it might be like one of the best sneakers of 2020 in terms of performance, certainly that I've tried out. And then not only that, it might be one of my favorite performance basketball sneakers like ever. Because I've got across here, like, set over here, I got a couple. That's just the other shoe. I've got like the Kyrie 4 and the Adidas Pro Bounce Low 2018 or Pro Bounce 2018 Low. These are a couple of my favorite all-time sneakers to play in. And like I hold them in really high regard, and I would compare the Li-Ning Sonic VIII Team to these guys in terms of what they give you on the court, in terms of being well-rounded and being extremely solid in every category. And because because they remind me of these guys, and I consider these guys to be some of my favorite performers, and I have to put this guy in the same category. And I want to play in this a lot more. I do want to see how the cushion goes over a long period of time, because it's a budget model, and it may bottom out eventually. Most cushions do. It just depends on how long that process takes. But it's just, the way I felt with this sneaker was that I could put it on and then just go out and play basketball and not have to worry about it and just like forget I was even wearing it. And that was the big thing that I noticed with the Kyrie 4. That was the biggest thing for me with those guys, that I just could wear them and not worry about whether I was going to get consistent traction, whether I was going to be sore after I played, whether or anything else like that, whether I was going to need to take them off because my foot got too hot. Like, not the case with those, not the case with the Pro Bouncers, not the case with these guys. So, I just really like them. I want to wear them a lot more, obviously, because I, got them sort of late last year. I have worn them enough that I feel confident in this review, but I'd like to try them out more, because these are I'm gonna keep playing in these. Even when I'm testing other sneakers, I really want to keep these in a rotation, and I want to keep these around for a decent period of time. So that pretty much like takes care of it, I guess. Yeah, I really, really like them. I highly recommend that you pick up a pair if you need a pair of basketball sneakers, and if you're looking to pick up a pair of basketball sneakers on a budget as well, and not spend too much money, then I honestly strongly recommend heading over to Sunlight Station, sunlightstation.com, and picking up a pair of the Li-Ning Sonic VIII Team. I'll leave a link in the description, and there's also a written review over on hoopsneakers.wordpress.com, which that'll have their price, weight, scores, all that good. We've talked about their price, and you can probably guess they're going to get a pretty high score. But you can head over to the website. There'll be links there as well as to where you can find these guys online. Yeah, with all that being said, I've got my Wear Testers shirt. Disclaimer, I'm in no way affiliated with weartesters.com in any way. I just picked this up off eBay a few years ago. It's, one of my most comfortable shirts. I'm not with Wear Testers yet, but Chris or Jody or Leek, if any of you guys happen to be watching this video, then, I love what you guys are doing. You're a big inspiration. I appreciate all the content you put out for us to learn from. That's pretty much we're going away from the sneakers now, so I'll wrap it up there. I thank you guys heaps once again for checking me out and watching this video. Make sure you go over and do check out Sunlight Station, because they sent these guys out to me, and I just greatly appreciate it because I really, really like them a lot. But until next time, guys, I'm going to catch you all on the next video. Peace out.